So my name is Maddy Elruna and I'm doing a series of absolute beginners tarot videos. So if you're curious about tarot, or if you just want to go back and revisit the basics, maybe these videos could help you. So the first thing is to get yourself a tarot deck. Please don't believe all the superstition about it has to be gifted to you. This is just a deck of cards, so feel free to dig one out at the bottom of the cupboard. So many people have one already, or to have a look online or go to your nearest metaphysical bookshop and choose one that works for you. My advice is to choose a deck that is similar to the Rider-Waite deck. Basically, every single card will have a picture. There's going to be some decks out there where some of the cards are more like playing cards and they have symbols. That is harder for the beginner to read. And my advice, if you're starting out, unless you are really drawn to it, is to avoid the Thoth deck, Aleister Crowley's deck. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a really beautiful deck, but because it is from a different style to the Rider-Waite deck and it's less popular, there are less resources to help you read with it. So that's all. It's a great deck, but for my first real piece of advice is to find a deck that is what they call a Rider-Waite clone. So it is inspired by this deck here, which it's a beautiful deck, and actually it's my main reading deck, so I still use this deck. I love it. But have a look. There are so many decks. I'm not going to list them all. It's really up to you. There is a steampunk deck, which is really beautiful. Personally, I don't like computer generated decks, but if you do, then I think this is the Gilded Tarot. There are so many different styles out there. Have a look. A real favourite of mine is the Druidcraft deck. I would advise you to have a good look at the court cards, because court cards are traditionally the hardest of the cards to read. So if you've got a deck with the court cards that really speak to you, it will make a big difference. And find one where you love the imagery, because you're going to be looking at this deck a lot. So you need a deck that you look at it, and what you're looking for is a deck where you can almost fall into the pictures, where you want to look at the pictures. So find your deck. I will be doing this video using either Rider-Waite or Druidcraft. And then basically the best advice, read. Oops, left a couple behind. Read books, read vlogs, get out there, learn as much as you can, but you also have to actually start reading for yourself. And the best way to do that is to read for yourself most days. Not everyone can manage it every day. So just get yourself into a quiet place, shuffle your cards. There is no right or wrong way to shuffle. Shuffle however works best for you. I can't stand it when people riffle shuffle, because my cards get shuffled a lot, but hey, that's just personal practice. Shuffle until you feel you're there. You'll just know. Now, I do think cutting is important, because it's like drawing a line. It's saying I'm done, I'm ready. I like to cut into 3, but that's just me. But I do think the process of cutting is important. And then most days, in the morning if you're a morning person, the night before, if that better suits you, do yourself a 3-card reading. Now the one I like to use is nice and simple. 1 card in the middle. So this is for me for tomorrow. Main focus. Now for me the Page of Swords is often it's about the internet, because we have the element of air here, but it's also about communication, and it's about not getting pulled into arguments. Have a notice how the sword doesn't go beyond the edge of the card, so it's about saying things and then not knowing where they'll take you. So it's a slight, to be more grounded, maybe to get online and to do some building there, but it's, yeah. Now the next card, I pull this to the left, and this is a slight warning. Now I don't read reversals. Again, that's a personal choice. I prefer to look at the image and to really see the picture. So for me, to look at a card upside down is just faintly annoying, if I'm honest. steer clear of anyone that starts to talk about absolutes in tarot. It's an art, it's not a science, there are no absolutes. But because I don't read in reversals, the next card is a slight warning. Card to the left, slight warning. And I've got the Ace of Swords. So we're starting to see a pattern here. And the real key to tarot, when you get established in reading tarot, is to find the connection between the cards. So now we have 2 swords and we have 2 slight warnings about swords. In this deck, the suit of swords represents your mind. So it's saying perhaps I need to not overthink, not overanalyze, be a little bit more intuitive. And the next card is a card of advice. So embrace this. So Temperance, we have our first major arcana, and I'm going to be doing a whole series of this. So if I'm saying things and you're thinking, oh, you're jumping ahead, I don't get it, just keep watching the videos, and I will hope to cover all of the absolute basics. This is a card of magic. Notice how with the water, we live on a planet with gravity. This water would fall down. This is magic, but it's blending. To temper. It's either to temper steel, where you heat it and you bang it and you cool it down, or it's to water down, it's to blend. So perhaps what the cards are saying is that I've been a little bit more, too much left brain, too much focused. I need to step into the magical. I need to blend my skills. And I do like to look at the card at the bottom of the pack. To me, it's the doorstep card. It's kind of like it helps me to join the other dots. I don't do one card readings because to me the skill of tarot is in finding the story between the cards. And so now we can really see that the message between these cards is completely caught in the one card. The swords are up and crossed. So she's switching her mind off and she's being very intuitive. We have the water and we have the moon. So for me, tomorrow, to not be too logical, to be more intuitive. Now, what I suggest you do when you do this is record your reading. Even if you can only just think of 1 or 2 things, write it down when you do your reading. And then that evening or the next morning, look back. Look at your reading, reflect on how your day was, and learn. Because it's, all those meanings that you get in books are great, but actually the real skill is applying it to your everyday life. If you head to my website, just Google Maddy Elruna, Elruna. I have a free crib sheet that you can download off my website to help you. Because for me, the very first step in reading tarot is to read for yourself most days, not so much predictive, but allowing you to reflect on how the cards resonated with your day.